Hey guys, welcome back. Now, I have done persistent stores in Svelte 4. I have the videos. You can look it up. This is in Svelte 5. What we want to achieve is we have like multiple pages here, which has this increment. It's a component with some state. Now, if I increment here, if I go to this page, this will persist. The same case with this button. This will add apples to this cart or an array. And if I go to home page, it's the same. Now that's not all. So even if I refresh the page, it should remain. And this is happening because we are saving the value in local storage. Now I can clear this all, and you can try this in this link. Now we'll do that in a new SvelteKit app. First thing is we will modify this page. We will start with maybe the counter. Equals, we'll have a state with the initial value 0. Now we'll have a button which had the text increment. Then it shows the count, and on click, it increments the count by 1. I think it's plus equals 1. That will do it. Yeah. Now I'll move this to a separate component called counter.svelte. That way I can just import it maybe, and I can use it. You can use the $lib here. So it's all the same now. And okay, so I'll have a heading here as home, just to differentiate from other pages. I'll also have another page. I'll copy the same thing and paste here, and I'll rename it to page. But I want something for navigation, so I'll create a layout. We would require the children to show all the. This is the new slot, and we'll render all the children. This is how you do slot in Svelte 5. Now I'll have navigation. This will be home, and sorry. Yeah, I have a page. Now if I increment in a page, if I go to home, it will not show that. If I go back to page again, that will have gotten the new state already. Now if I go to home page and maybe multiply these counters, they are all independent of each other, and so that's how they should be, because they are all independent instances. Now what if I want these counters that I just put here to have the same state? What I can do is I can move the count state to somewhere here and bind them with all these things, and it will work. But that's like, if you're using this like in multiple pages, this counter is here and there is another counter here in a page. In this case, it's going to be a little tricky. You can either call state here and pass it down and do that, but sometimes when you make some changes in a child, you want that to reflect in a parent. We had something called stores in Svelte 4. In Svelte 5, however, we don't really need writable or derived stores. Here we can actually use the shared state. The way we can do that is just by moving the state to a JS file instead of having it here. So what we do is we'll just create a file, maybe store.svelte.js, because if you want to use states or runes in a JS file, you have to call it svelte.js. Here what we do is export const maybe count. Now one more thing is you cannot just use a value here like 0. It has to be object. It can be something like this, count, and then maybe something like value is 0. If it is just a value, we will not be able to assign it. I mean, when we import it and try to assign it, it will throw an error. Now what we do is in counter, instead of this, we'll just import that count from the library store.svelte. We can actually call this stores, but yeah, let it be that way. I can do count.value here also. And that should be it. Like if I increment here, I can go to the page, I have one there, and it is like persistent. Like even if I navigate, it's gonna stay the same. So that's one part of it. We achieved it. Now the next part is how to make it persistent, right? And I will also have another export. I'll also have another thing called cart, which is state, which is an object. Now initially it's empty. Now arrays are also of type object, so they will also be reactive. Since this will be, since Svelte 5 uses proxies, it has to be of type object. You cannot just have the direct value. Now moving to our counter, I'll just do it here. So I can also get cart, and I'll just have a button here which shows add something, and then it shows the cart, maybe something like JSON.stringify cart. That's how we can show the cart. Okay, on click, what should happen? It's the same thing. Cart.push. We want to push something there. So I'll get the code. I usually do go to this site. Add. I just got this emoji and I just added it here now. So this also should work the same. So if I go to the page or at home, this should retain the states. But if I refresh, however, this will reset. Now I don't want that to happen. So how do we persist this? Now there are two ways of doing it. One is session store, one is local storage. There's also cookies, which we don't want to do right now. We'll use local storage. So I saw this repository created by Rich Harris called local storage test. I was thinking like there will be a new feature added to Svelte. I also tweeted about it that maybe persistent stores are coming, but maybe it's maybe in the future it will come. But you can actually use this, like you just copy this whole thing. I could have copied there. and do something like storage.svelte.ts. It's in TypeScript, so I'll just name it TypeScript. And once we have it here, we can actually use this in our counter or in our store here. Instead of these, I'll just copy them. We will have to use new local storage, which comes from there. The first value is key. We can just call it count. Second is you can do something like this, value 0. And I can do the same thing for this. I can call this card, call this value. Yeah, I think I can actually just do this. It should work fine. Let's see if it works. So let me go back to count here. So things will change here. So it has to be, now we have to have current here as well. I'm not quite sure if it's gonna work, but let's see. I think when I made the change, it took that value. I'll just remove it from the local storage. Okay, if I add, it is adding. Increment, it's doing. So 3 apples and 2 increments. If I refresh, yeah, it remains. So this is it. This is how easy it is. I'll leave the link to this script that Rich Harris has created. That will do the persistent store for us, which is you just have to put it somewhere and use it. All right, so that would be it for this video. So if you liked it, hit a thumbs up. Thanks guys, bye.